Hey, y'all. This is Frank the Bigfoot, and you're listening to the Paranormal Punchers.
Hey, friends. Welcome to Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Nash.
I'm Dave.
What's up?
Hey.
Everybody doing all right?
Good to be back. Oh, wait. No, I've been here for a while.
You are
here.
Yes.
What?
Excellent job so far in 2020.
Whoa.
Except for hitting that, making that noise.
Whoa.
That was.
We would like to thank Mood Duck for that.
Yeah.
And it's also Lulu, our dog. It's her birthday.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Happy
10
birthday,
years
Lulu.
old
10 years
today.
old. We gave her a toy, but we just had to take it from her
Yep.
because it was making too much noise.
Yeah.
And now she's licking the ground.
That's usual.
That's her second toy.
Yeah.
God, no. I mean, what is on that spot
I don't know.
that she keeps looking at? Yeah.
Kind
We do have a bunch of-
investigation. Paranormal investigation.
Children that come, not children, boys, teenage boys that come here, and who knows what they're eating.
Could be some
and
sweat,
dropping.
some salt.
Yeah.
From their sweat.
Who
yeah.
knows?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
An entrance to another, existence.
It could be
Yeah,
that
yeah.
too.
You think she's licking a demon portal? It happens to be right in our studio.
Right there on the ground.
She's keeping it closed.
right next to
my
the
God.
weights.
I like that. I like that idea. Yeah. If it wasn't for the dog. So when the unfortunate time comes, then when Lulu, passes on,
Pass,
Right.
yeah.
Or
does
you
that
guys
mean
move.
the portal opens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Or
She's
you
been
go-
keeping it shut. Yes.
Yeah, or if you guys move, you never know.
If this is your first time listening to Paranormal Punches, I'm sorry.
I am so sorry.
We are a little...
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. We're a little crazy, a little cuckoo. I mean, come on, the show's called Paranormal Punchers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
weren't expecting a hard-hitting show, right? Well, guess what? That's what we're doing today. No, we're not doing that at all. We are going to talk about the Yeti.
Right.
Now, can't believe we haven't talked about this cryptid yet, but
I know.
since, I misunderstood Nash. I thought your son was doing a report on the Yeti. I was like, oh, my God, we should do something on the Yeti, too. He was just drawing pictures of
He
the
was
Yeti.
just drawing pictures. Yeah, I thought it was a full report with like information that came in, and I went to him and said, Evan, hey, you did this report on the Yeti.
Right.
You are basically a subject matter expert right now,
Right.
And do you have any of that stuff? You never ever take anything out of your backpack. Where is the information on this report? And he was like, No, Dad, no. I just went on to Google and hit images and then drew a picture from what I saw there.
Right.
And then we
so
talked
basically,
about the
he did the
picture.
same research we do.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what I need. Even less than what we do. But he drew a nice picture, I guess. So, I don't know.
Well, we also have listener feedback. We have a
Yeah.
couple listener stories. So we should get rolling. All right, so we're going to kick it off, as usual, with listener feedback brought to you by Living Among Bigfoot, the only book series about Bigfoot that drops the 15th of every month on Amazon. Go find it.
Sounds very spooky when he said it.
Yeah, I try. One listener, Fat Chuddy, thinks my voice is annoying. But hey, Living Among Bigfoot likes it.
Now, have you guys gotten the most recent? Because it's past the 15th now. It's past Valentine's Day.
No, did you get time to read it?
I haven't had a chance.
Tom Lyons, the author
I
of
know.
Living Among Bigfoot, has a book. This one is about aliens.
I know.
Oh, that sounds great.
I didn't get a chance to read it, but I am super
Yeah,
excited to read
it's
it.
literally my next book to read once I finish with this other one. So I just need to have time to read it.
What do you do with your days?
I know, I work
You have
and-
priorities. Come on.
I know.
Carry all the research for the podcast.
You got the research for the podcast. You got the books. And then maybe go to work.
I do that sometimes, yeah.
We're going to kick it off. We heard from Daniel M. Another great show. Well done, guys and girl. So far, Dave has been in more episodes than he has not been. He's living up to his promise.
Woot.
Don't get too excited.
Yeah.
We heard from Kevin J. Dave has clearly been replaced by Reptilian. He has never talked as much as he did on that last episode.
I cannot confirm or deny that I've been taken over by a reptilian.
Oh, boy.
Oh, we heard from Nicole. With all the talk about UFO and Bigfoot sightings coinciding, sightings coinciding, or whatever that word is, with one another makes me think Chewbacca made a pit stop in the Millennium Falcon. Well, I think that is some fan fiction out there that Han Solo and Chewbacca crash landed here, and that's why I have sightings of Bigfoot, which is a super solid fan fiction story.
Yep.
Thanks, Nicole.
Yeah.
We heard. My dog's over there whimpering.
I know.
I wonder if the mics pick it up. She's just.
I don't know.
She wants her birthday toy back.
I know.
She really
I
does.
took it away from her.
There's
just
a
put
squeaker.
It up.
There's a squeaker in it.
Yeah.
Which we would hear the entire
Oh
episode.
God. Yeah.
Which I guess could be funny or grating.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
not
a bit
sure.
of both.
We heard from Robert. Hey guys, in Mark's voice, which I just did.
Which you do every time.
Yeah.
I have been listening to your podcast now for a month and started in reverse order.
Oh.
I live in
Good
Central.
choice.
Start with the newest, work your way back. Then you
Yeah.
appreciate us more. Is
Yeah.
that what you mean?
Look, I really like the early episodes. Dyatlov Pass is my favorite topic ever.
Right.
But that episode wasn't exactly our best quality. We were just getting
Yeah.
started. We were figuring out our way. So
Yeah.
starting with us on the newest and working backwards is probably a better thing.
Unless you start with this episode, because I already see this sliding slowly down the hill.
Well, I guess you would get some a bit of appreciation. You would say, okay, I know what this is about. And then the older and the farther you go back, they're like, okay, they're sliding down. Okay, here we go. The sliding. Okay, but they're not normally like this.
Well, I mean, Robert had more to say.
Sorry.
That's not all he said.
Okay.
I live in Central Kentucky, and today I got to your Kentucky Goblins and Aliens episode.
Oh, yeah.
Funny thing is, about 4 years after that, I think he's referring to maybe the Kelly Hopkinsville
Yeah.
incident. Fort Campbell was built. I served 6 to 7 years there while in the Army. I don't know if that's the only part of Kentucky you have covered besides Mammoth Caves, but Louisville has several cryptids all of their own. You might want to check it out. Okay, but he's not done.
Oh.
He messaged again. Here are two I was able to find in Louisville. The Pope Lick Monster.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah,
done
yeah.
that.
I think we've done that one.
Yeah.
And the Demon Leaper.
Ooh.
The Demon Leaper.
The Demon Leaper.
I like it.
Huh.
But there are also tons of Bigfoot sightings, too.
Okay.
The Demon Leaper.
That sounds like the one creature out of Left 4 Dead.
The Demon Leaper.
Yeah, I forget what it's called.
Would it go from body to body to body kind of a thing? Or?
It's like walking around in a
There was a Denzel movie
hoodie,
about
and
that,
then it
wasn't
jumps on you.
Yeah.
Ooh, I see. Yeah, what was that? What was the name of that movie? Yeah, where the
Thanks to
the
Moodok,
demon
I'm
kept-
not able to recall that
I can
information.
see that in your eyes, dude.
Yeah.
Ooh. Wait
It
till the
was like,
second half of this
wasn't
show.
it one word?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Robert's not done.
Okay.
There's also the Waverly Hills Sanatorium with a doppelganger. And, hey guys, I thought of another place here in Kentucky closer to where I live.
Oh, wow.
It's in Elizabethtown, Kentucky.
What?
Ooh. Yeah, there's.
Robert, we're in Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, so is he a doppelganger?
It's called, I don't think so. It's the Gates of Hell Cemetery. That is like quite the name. It's the Gates of Hell Cemetery, and I've been there several times to investigate. This cemetery is out of the middle of the woods with nothing around but farmland. The first time I went, you could feel and hear a difference at this cemetery compared to any other cemetery. There was a dark presence there, and what makes it even more eerie is there was no noise from insects in the cemetery. But you could hear them and animals outside of the cemetery. Robert, first off, thank you for your service.
Oh, for
and
sure.
thank you for all of these things, topic ideas, and thank
know.
you for listening.
Yeah.
Now, in the middle of me trying to read this, Robert, Dave's got a cell phone and he's shoving it in everybody's face. It's like wicked distracting. What was on the cell phone?
The movie's Fallen.
Fallen.
Where the demon leapt from person to
Yeah.
person to person. And
What's
there's-
funny is both Dave and I were trying to figure this out, and he beat me. So,
I mean,
I'm really good at just-in-time research.
yeah.
nice.
We heard from Phantom Gaming. Dear Pea Punchers, my name is Phantom Gaming.
Fantome.
I just found your podcast.
Ooh.
I have been binge listening to it day in and day out.
Wow.
Please, can you give me a shout out?
Aw.
If I could, I would give you 100,000 stars.
Wow, nice.
Thanks. Your fan, Phantom Gaming.
Wow.
Well, Phantom Gaming, thank you for listening to the show.
Yes.
If you could actually find a way to give us 100,000 stars,
I know. I'd be okay.
that
with
would be awesome.
That'd be all right. I would give you the shout out as if a Klingon was passing to stove a core.
Phantom Game just stopped listening to the show.
They shout to the heavens.
Yeah.
Oh, they shout to the heavens.
But Phantom also had something else to say. Hey, guys, I was thinking y'all could do an episode on Goshen Cemetery. I hear it's super haunted. It's less than 5 minutes away from me. Love your work. Keep it up.
Goshen Cemetery.
Goshen. Now, I looked this up, but there's a Goshen Cemetery in Texas.
Okay.
There's a Goshen Cemetery in Indiana.
Are they a franchise?
And there's a Goshen, Pennsylvania, I think.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, it was a haunted cemetery franchise?
I don't know. If there's a lot of Goshen cemeteries, it could be a
For
cemetery.
only $20,000, you could start your own haunted
It
cemetery.
could be a cemetery franchise. Why not? I don't know.
So, Phantom Gaming, let us know where you're located.
That's what
Do they,
about.
the franchise, do they provide the satanic rituals that start
right.
with
That's
dead
right.
not able to rest and all that?
You pay a sum.
That's part of the franchise.
Yeah,
you,
that's
you,
the-
you,
yeah.
you
the
get
plot
the
of ground
rituals.
and the big tome of spells. And, yeah. I think it's a good idea. That's
We're
good,
on to
a good
something.
business model.
We're on to
I
something
know. We're like, huh. Okay.
We heard from Rob Mag01 on the Apple podcast.
Ooh.
5 stars.
Nice.
Been listening for a month now and started from reverse. I have a feeling this is Robert that we just talked about. And I enjoy all your episodes. You guys do an awesome job and a funny way of talking about the paranormal. I work an hour away from home and listen while at work as well to get caught up on the episodes. You guys make me laugh all day, even the parts about Dave returning from the center of the earth. Oh, and return he has.
Yes.
Yeah.
You should see the look in his eye right now.
Looking around going, they know. Oh, no.
Yeah.
They know.
Thanks, Rob Mag01. Appreciate that a lot. We heard from Jay Decay. Jay Decay.
Decay, as in like
Decay.
my body is decaying? Or,
Yeah,
or
Jay Decay.
Decay,
Okay.
like George Takei.
No, DK.
DK.
J Decay.
Like the letter D, the
JDK.
letter DK, or is it DK? Like
DECAY.
DK.
Boy.
Okay.
J Decay.
Okay.
Well,
Can we continue this for any longer?
so we probably just lost some listeners right there.
Yeah.
For those who stuck around, here's what Jay had to say.
Yeah.
Just started listening to you guys. Must say, awesome and entertaining. Makes work bearable. Informative with some comedy. Keep it up.
We'll work on it.
I don't think his emphasis was the same as your emphasis
I know.
there.
No.
I actually didn't mean to emphasize it that way. Wait. Makes work bearable. Informative with some comedy.
Okay,
Keep
there
it
we
up.
go.
Nice. Okay.
Sorry, JDK. I did not mean to read it that way.
We laugh at our own
I'll
stuff
blame
a
that.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
So
blame
we've
that
been
on
told.
Moon Duck. Yes. All right. I've been really excited for this one here. This should be pretty entertaining. Hey, guys. Again, you guys knocked it out of the park with another awesome episode. Super interesting topic, as I've never heard of the 12 vile vortices before.
Vortices.
Thank you. Really interesting to learn about it. Almost makes the Bermuda Triangle make way more sense now. Would be super down to hear individual episodes of you guys delving deeper into some of the individual vortices.
Vortices?
Loving it.
Okay.
As per you guys reading my story, I appreciate your effort on trying to pronounce the word.
Here we go.
I included a voice clip to this email so you can hear the different ways it's pronounced. I also included the opposite condition, which is hypnopompia, where you see things when you wake up.
Oh.
Keep up the amazingness, and if it's not weird, it's not worth checking out. Much love, Meg. Now, Dave, you read Meg's
Yes.
story, and she did send in how to pronounce that word properly. All right, so first we're going to listen to Dave.
Well, I didn't even really try it, did I? I think I gave up right away.
Here we go. Here's what happened.
I suffer from a condition called
Something or otheritis?
I
Try it.
Spell it.
Hypnagogia?
Spell it.
Hypnagogia.
All right. So that wasn't even close. Fortunately, Meg had sent us how to say it right.
Hypnagogia, hypnagogic, hypnagogic, hypnopompic, hypnopompia.
Okay.
She just schooled Dave.
Yep.
You know, I'm with you though. It's not an easy word to read.
Right.
I mean, the way with the spelling. So I'm not making fun of you, but
No, you can make fun of me.
okay, I was.
But she sounded great when she said it.
I know. I'm like, Meg, you should be on the show.
Yeah. She sounded great.
Maybe every time we get to a word we cannot pronounce.
Yeah.
I know.
Meg.
You're like,
We'll
hey,
just
Meg.
The whole show would just be Meg talking.
Just send her,
because we screw everything
not
up.
your
I
research,
know.
Alicia, but my research. I can just send to Meg, and
I
then she can just
know.
read it.
Yeah. No, and actually with the Yeti, there's a bunch of stuff that I'm like, I
Well,
don't
Meg,
know.
we're gonna need you.
I know. I don't
We're
know
gonna
if
need
I
your help.
actually even should try. I think it's really
Oh,
bad.
yeah. I think you should try.
All right. We heard from Sean Z. Dudes, I want to know how come we've not heard anything on Ghost Mountain in Bucks County, Pennsylvania.
Ghost Mountain.
Ghost Mountain. I heard it on another podcast, and it sounds kind of cool. Anyways, I'm just getting caught up again. I've had too much time on my hands lately and got backed up. Maybe I just read it wrong. I haven't had enough time on my hands, and I'm getting backed up with my favorite paranormal podcast. Sean Z, right now, I read that as poorly as I could possibly have read anything. And I apologize.
Meg, please.
Meg?
Meg, we need your help.
Oh, I might have some cool stories to tell you guys about. My paranormal research group that I'm part of might be doing a very interesting case up here in the North Country. The North Country. Oh. I don't know if anybody can hear my dog. She wants her toy
I
bag.
know. She wants this so bad.
Not real happy.
Sean continues here. I'll fill you in as soon as I can on it once we get rolling with it. Oh, well. Keep up the most excellent work, my friends. I realize I butchered the catchphrase when I wrote in months ago. So here we go. If it's not weird, it's not worth checking out. Now, take it away with the best show out there. Sean Z out. Oh, and Nash. If I ever own a bar, I would have your beer on tap.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Thank you.
Are you sure? Because last episode, he talked about he made practically gasoline.
But it was really good.
There's a market for that, too.
and I think I might have a fix for it. I'm going to try to fix it. I think I can fix it. I'm very excited about the fix.
So we still might get beer from my chupacabra?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Either way, it's going to be a yes on that. It's just that version 2, which has a lot of alcohol burn when you take a drink. I think I might be able to fix that. So that's what I'm going for. If I can correct it, that'd be great. Either way, there's going to be a version 3 coming very soon.
Okay.
I would like to bring it in at like a 5.4.
I know. Something easy.
An
to
easy
drink.
summer day drinking.
Yeah, that'll be version 3.
Your first version was like 9%.
It was 11.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, 11. Oh, yeah. See, that's when you see the chupacabra.
Uh-huh.
When you're drinking 11% beer.
It was pretty high. Version 2 was like a 9, but I omitted the Anaheim pepper. So yeah, version 3 will be a regular ABV, be like 5%,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah, so we'll see. I'll play around.
We heard from Scott P. Scott P. Hey, gang. Love the podcast. Listen to it at work as I drive a lot. Makes the day go by much faster and more enjoyable. One thing I wanted to maybe mention about the Viscilla.
Vasilla?
Villisca?
Meg?
She's going to be our go-to for all of this. Meg!
About the Villisca axe murders. The mirror or mirrors in the house were covered, and y'all covered all the obvious points, except that in some religions or cultures, they will cover the mirrors in the houses where the person passed away. And in a lot of cases, the viewing was held in that house. It was to keep them, covering the mirrors, it was keep them from finding their way back, from what I understand. I don't know.
From the other world or something?
Yeah, the mirrors were a gateway, I guess, to the other world. I don't know. Something fun to think about. Keep it weird, lady and gents.
Cover up the mirrors if you have somebody die, and that will keep them from coming back. That would make sense. I kind of get that. Yeah.
You don't want their spirit to be,
right,
able to come back.
Correct.
They want them to go on to the next.
Yeah, because they'll progress to the next, but instead of coming back and seeing what's there in their body and their family, coming back and haunting the family, that kind of just gets rid of the options. They have to move on.
Mirrors are like portholes from the other side.
Portals.
I like the way you say portholes.
Portholes too. I guess.
No, I'm saying portholes like a ship, like you're looking out. And
Well, yeah, but you can't pass through a porthole.
if you try really hard, you can.
You're gonna okay.
I can't,
This is the
but-
challenge here. Okay, who's
You
gonna
were trapped like 20 days on one of those boats with the coronavirus. You might be able to call out a porthole.
Those are pretty small, man.
Yeah,
You can't even get Lulu through a porthole.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, they're
100%.
small.
They're pretty teeny tiny.
Okay, fine.
You couldn't even put a basketball.
They're
through one.
windows
They're
to the other side.
Yes.
We heard from Joe P on Instagram. Hey guys, big fan, trying to catch up. Just started listening like a month ago, and I'm episode 43 now.
Wow.
Keep up the good work. You make working in a school built in the 40s at night a little creepier.
Thanks. Wow, yes, I would say yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. And
Until you listen to this episode, there'll be nothing creepy about that school.
That's right.
You'll probably be trying to find Meg to help you pronounce every word properly.
Right, yeah.
That's right.
This is that's just the whole point of the show.
I wonder, Mega did such a good job. She could actually replace like Siri.
Oh, yes.
You think? That was actually really, really good, right?
Yeah.
We should invent our own app.
There it is, Meg. We'll call you.
Call Meg.
Maybe.
We heard from Rodney. Hey, guys. Listening to the Rob Guttrow interview, I finally caught up on all the podcasts. I didn't know there was a difference between a ghost and a spirit. Always good to learn something new. With the help of mediums, we know how and where ghosts live on this side. Maybe I missed it. Did Rob explain the environment in which spirits live in when they go to the other side? I don't think he did. I mean, I could get Rob to see if he can answer that question for us. And he did hashtag this. Hashtag banana pudding skin for the win.
That's gross. Pudding skin's only in chocolate. That's disgusting. Banana pudding skin, that's heresy.
Oh, jeez.
No, banana's pretty good.
But pudding skin, banana pudding skin? I mean, I know, I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I'm just saying I couldn't live off of it like I could chocolate pudding skin. Because that stuff is yummy.
We're going to wrap this up. I got a couple more. We heard from Birdie Cuda on the Twitters. Hey, guys. As was
Great success.
Meg. Hey, guys, as I was catching up on the past episodes, I couldn't help but notice that you haven't covered Spring-Heeled Jack. It's one of my favorite tales, and I think it would make a great episode. Spring-Heeled Jack.
Spring-heeled Jack.
I know Supernatural had an episode about Spring-Heeled Jack.
Did they? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I don't remember that one.
Spring-heeled Jack.
Yep, Dave's looking it up.
Like, is it?
He's on the
can,
research.
Like, you can
Yeah.
jump and run fast or something? Spring-heeled Jack.
Well, he said to make a great topic, so
Yeah.
he doesn't mean, like, talk about it now. Like,
Yeah.
go
Well,
research it and
I'm
do
just
an
thinking
episode.
about it. I'm just trying to work the logistics, you know?
We heard from Rhonda Del Baccio.
Oh, hey.
This was a great show. So much fun, as always. One PP drinking game could be drink a beer whenever Nash or one of the guys turns the topic to food, like the hamburger flying saucer
Yeah.
or aliens ordering pizza. Keep it weird. Your official psychic medium, Rhonda.
Aw.
Hey, Rhonda. Hope you're doing well.
I agree. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Boy, I don't know if that's a good idea because I feel like we
Contribute to
somehow talk
alcohol
about
poisoning.
food a lot.
I know.
There's already had a hashtag pudding skin. Technically,
That would be a
pizza
shot.
came up right there in the conversation.
Yeah.
Banana pudding skin.
Banana.
Yep,
That's right.
yep.
That's right.
This is the last one I'm going to read, and then we're going to get into the main topic. But we do have some listener stories coming up from Fran, from Corey, and from Indiana Johnny. But the last listener feedback is from Corey. Said something new to Patreon. I'm going through all the old archives. It was cool to see what y'all look like. Hey, Mark. For some reason, I always pictured you with a dope-ass Ron Swanson mustache. LOL. I have no idea why, but whatever.
I think you should do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That actor, comedian, he's super cool. So
Yeah, I know.
I
That's what I'm
take that as a
saying.
compliment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He also says, and I think it's cute that Alicia drinks wine. She's like, y'all can have your beer, but I'm a fancy young lady. And Nash, pretty much what I figured. Ha
Yeah.
ha ha.
Yep. Exactly.
And of course, no Dave, but we still love him. Thanks, Corey. Yeah, he was watching. We videotaped when we did the one episode of News Weird News.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a dope
Tell you.
ass mustache.
Yeah, you could lose the whole Amish goatee thing you've got.
Is that what you're gonna call it? It's just called
like
a
what you
goatee. You know what,
the
Dave?
goatee
thank you.
is the full on the top
No,
and
no,
on the
no.
bottom.
That's a Van Dyke.
Oh, okay.
This is a goatee, bro.
I stand corrected. I would agree with you.
Dave,
yeah.
you like it?
I like it.
I'm gonna pull it into a point.
Ooh.
Maybe split it into 2
Well,
points.
let's
Oh,
see
God.
how your spouse feels about that.
I think we just heard.
Yeah, decision is a no on that one.
The decision is still out for jury deliberation, but yeah, I'm not sure.
It's my facial hair. I can do what I want.
No.
Well, thank you so much, everybody. We love the feedback. You are part of the show. So send it. Go to our site, paranormalbuncher.com.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find multiple ways to contact us. So thank you. Without further ado, and I know everybody listening is like, yeah, further ado, it's like 27 minutes into the show. And you're finally going to talk about
Show's
the
almost
Yeti?
half over, and you haven't even gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Well, buckle up, because now it's time for the Yeti.
I say strap on your snow boots.
Oh.
Yeah, get on your snowshoes,
Yeah.
put on your parka.
Yeah.
We're headed over to the Himalaya mountains.
That's
Oh, yeah.
right.
So the Yeti,
That's the
a.k.a. the abominable snowman.
Yeah, abdominal
Yes.
snowman.
It says abominable.
Well, he's got good abs. That's why I say that.
Okay. Abominable? What?
Abdominal.
I said
my God.
abominable.
Abominable.
Don't engage the Nash squash.
Oh my God.
He's like family to me.
So this is an Asian Bigfoot in the Himalayas, which would be Nepal, Tibet, Russia, and India. And I have a little quote. With a menacing howl and eyes that glow, the Yeti reportedly protects the mountains from evildoers.
That doesn't rhyme.
It's a quote.
Oh. Well, I felt like it sounded like a poem for a second.
It's not a poem. So
I want it to rhyme.
It rhymes in the original.
right. I paraphrased, yeah. The Yeti stands from 8 to 10.5 feet tall. Some descriptions say over 11 feet. And then there are other descriptions that show it's shorter than like our Bigfoot over here, which is about, I think, 7 to 10
yeah.
or whatever. Weighs in between 200 and 400 pounds. Resembles a huge upright walking ape. And has a furry coat of brown, reddish, or black hair. Not white.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because if you look up Yeti, like in images, it'll show like this white creature. I don't know where that came from.
Well, in
But-
the blowing snow and things like that.
Yeah.
Perhaps the if it was of a lighter color, a black would obviously show through. But
Well, of course.
if a lighter color, then the snow simply freezing on the ends of it.
Would
you know,
give that a white.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, have you ever seen the pictures of like a local fire crew when they're fighting a fire in the winter and they come out and they're just covered in ice?
Okay.
They look white, even though they have, obviously bright colors for emergency
Right.
personnel. So I'm sure the white makes sense that if you found the actual creature's color,
Right,
it might
right.
not be white. But
Yeah. Now, the name Yeti derives from Yeta, meaning rock thing. In Buddhist mythology, the Yetis were peaceful creatures. Peaceful creatures. They were very shy and lived in dense snow caves on the glaciers, which form the Ganges, thank you, river in India. He was also mentioned in pre-Buddhist cultures,
Right.
such as the Lecha people. I don't know.
Meg,
I know, Meg. They worshipped a glacier giant. Followers of the Bon religion, Bon or Bone, I'm not sure. I'm sorry. They once believed the blood of the Regad or wild man had use in certain mythical ceremonies. The being was depicted as an ape-like creature who carries a large stone as a weapon and makes a whistling swoosh sound.
So when I thought about the swooshing sound, I thought of it was like, okay, well, what if I was wearing like vinyl pants? That would create like a swooshing sound. Whoosh,
Are you
whoosh,
saying
whoosh.
that the Yeti is wearing those kind of pants?
It could be a nice tracksuit. I'm
Okay.
just saying, you never know what's happening. I'm just saying when I hear a swooshing sound when I'm walking, it's because my pants are swooshing because I'm wearing a tracksuit.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Yeti has been labeled the guardian of the Himalayan mountains. Many tribes in the area consider the Yeti a divine spiritual being and is sometimes worshipped, attributed to many supernatural powers, which I did not find what those powers are, but I think
didn't
that would
really-
be kind of cool.
I didn't really either. It was all like, yes, it was attributed to powers, but
Right.
other
But they
than
didn't say what they were.
correct.
I know.
Correct.
And it is said to interbreed with humans.
That's no good.
I know. So, in addition to that, some legends say that there is actually no breeding population of Yetis. Instead, each Yeti is actually and this is a lot of words here that
This is a lot of words.
Here we go. It's a lot of words. Transmogrified, quasi-solid ghost of a dead human.
oh, nice.
I know.
Transmogrified.
I just lost it. Transmogrified,
Yeah.
quasi-solid
Quasi-solid.
ghost of a dead human.
So basically a dead person who's kind of like can phase in and out
Right.
like Slimer.
Yeah.
You know, just in a bigger form.
So I don't know why I don't know. I suppose if I died, my ghost, I would want it to be this like giant creature that
But if it's quasi-solid, that means
Yeah.
that you're kind of bound by our physics and reality and kind of not.
I don't know.
So that means that I'm thinking that you could touch it like Ghost. Like the movie Ghost, when Patrick Swayze is like moving the quarter
Yeah.
and he's moving the magnet on the fridge, he's quasi-solid.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. And there's also 3 different kinds of Yetis also
Yeah.
in the lore.
Okay, do it.
There's 3 different styles or versions.
Okay.
There is the Zu Te, who stands 8 feet tall.
Okay.
When he's on his back legs, however, he prefers to walk on all 4s.
Okay.
He can kill a yak with one swipe of his massive claws.
Yeah, I found a fun fact that the Nepalese believe that it can kill you with one punch.
Yep.
Oh.
The one punch Yeti.
There's a smaller version, the Chu The, or Thelma. for some reason, they rode in a car and with Louise and drove off a cliff after meeting Brad Pitt.
Okay.
Yep. A little reddish colored child-sized creature who walks on 2 legs and has long arms, which meets we were talking about the albatwitch earlier, but that meets a lot of strange other physical descriptions. And there's the Mete, who is most like a man and has an orangey red fur on his body, kind of like someone here. Who could be from the Hollow Earth, who has an orangish red fur covering his body.
Oh, boy.
Mark? The Yeti or Yeti is a mutation.
I'm like, I don't know if you should be insulted.
I know.
Just because you have red hair doesn't mean you have red hair covering your body.
I'm just saying that we could be in the presence of either a reptilian overlord who is in disguise of Dave or a Mete who is a Yeti who is shaved down because it's a little warmer here and trying to blend in. Nice. We're on to you, my friend. We're on to you.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Dave's clearly not amused whatsoever with that comment. He's very meh about it.
Any of us, yeah. He's meh about it.
So stupid.
I know. Other local mythology states that the Yetis are actually demons that have been assigned to guard mountains so that humans do not ascend to the peaks and disturb the gods who live there, which obviously has not worked out.
Right.
Because we're climbing,
Yes.
climbing all
We're
over.
not.
No. We're not.
I'm certainly
but
not
people
climbing
are
the Everest.
climbing them.
But the route taken by the people is a very specific laid out route.
Yes.
So there could be these Yetis that are there that are like, okay, let's give the hairless creatures their space to get on top of the world. And let's just kind of let them think that they're there doing their thing. And if they get off the path, well, either they'll die because they'll fall off the mountain.
Right.
But if they're at the base or at their base camp, we're there to kind of give the boundaries.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly the path to Everest is, the Sherpas know exactly where to go.
Right.
You don't deviate from that unless you don't want to come back
To
down.
survive, yeah.
So perhaps that's the same as any culture that is just trial and error over the years. They learned this, and did they learn it from a mythical creature such as the Yeti?
Right.
Which looked up the whole transmogrification, quasi-solid. All that. So transmogrification means that it transforms due to a magical means.
Okay.
And quasi-solid means that it is solid but takes on more properties of liquid than solid.
Oh, okay, I was wrong.
So like the
That's why
T1000.
we can't take pictures.
The T1000 would be a quasi-solid.
Yeah, okay,
So,
right on.
So if this ghost of a human, so we have a spirit of a human, that then suddenly becomes quasi-solid, so they're actually more liquid than they are human, or are solid, then, but they're not, ethereal like we think of typical ghosts, and that it was transmogrified due to a magical means. Something compelled this spirit to turn into this.
Okay.
Are you
So
thinking
that's
kind of like the creatures, the aliens in the abyss, that kind of a thing, where they quasi-solid?
Possibly, but yeah, maybe it. I'm thinking more T1000. Like it typically shows up like the Yeti looks fully solid, but when it wants to disappear, it just turns to water.
But when it appears, it can make a knife hand and stab you in the eyeball.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Just like the T1000.
But you are talking like a reptilian.
Or someone who knows.
That's right.
But I mean, I think the concepts of this being a peaceful spirit, or more of a guardian, let's put it that way, not necessarily peaceful, but not benevolent.
Benevolent.
A malevolent?
Malevolent?
Malevolent, yeah.
Okay.
Not an angry thing. It's there. It's peaceful unless you anger it, and it's just there to protect the mountains. I think that fits in a lot of these descriptions.
For sure. So the Yetis have been sighted in the Himalayas since 6 BCE, before Common Era.
Yep.
It is considered the oldest hairy hominid on record. Yeah. Now, to go back to 326 BC. You know,
A little past that.
Alexander the Great. He demanded to see a Yeti when he conquered the Indus Valley. But I heard that.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
That was me. Sorry.
But according to
excited.
National Geographic, local people told him that they were unable to present one because the creatures could not survive at that low of an altitude. Yeah.
They were like,
I know.
no way, we are not surviving.
Right.
Well,
Hold on, I got something from a book called Anabasis Alexandri.
Okay.
This was translated from Roman text. Those captured were hairy. Not only their heads, but the rest of their bodies. Their nails were rather like beast claws. They used their nails, according to this report, as if they were iron tools. With these, they tore asunder their fishes and even less solid kinds of wood. Everything else they cleft with sharp stones. For iron, they did not possess. For clothing, they wore skins of animals. Some even the thick skins of larger fishes. That's from an excerpt from this book, I guess, by the Roman soldiers who went to Nepal.
Oh, wow.
So it sort of sounds like maybe they ran into something,
Right.
Yeah.
but maybe
that's a captured.
those captured, there's another passage where they fought them.
Okay.
What?
Because I'm wondering if
I just don't want to read all that.
if you captured something live, it would, and it's quasi solid. It could be like, you capture this man, hominid, whatever. But what if when they die, they turn back to water? They just turn into ice and water. And so that's why we don't find the bodies of them.
Maybe.
Okay.
So that's why I'm curious on what you found, if it was
Right.
that they captured bodies or if they simply spotted
Those captured
them.
were hairy. Yeah, but most people believe that they actually didn't run in. They didn't fight a tribe of Yetis.
Right.
It was just another, I don't know, something that the Romans never ran into, and it's
right.
the only way they could describe it.
Right.
Yep.
Now, Alicia, to further what you were saying about Alexander the Great,
Yes.
that he demanded to have one of these creatures brought to him, but the local villagers said that the creature couldn't survive at low altitude.
Yes.
Right. Later, now there's a name here who wrote a book, and the name is one of the best beers in the whole wide world.
Okay.
Okay, Pliny the Elder.
Yeah.
The actual Pliny the Elder wrote in his Naturalis Historia, in the land of the satyrs, how you finally get that? In the land of the satyrs, the mountains that lie to the east of India, live creatures that are extremely swift, and they can run on both 4 feet and 2. They have bodies like men, but and because of their speed, can only be caught when they're ill or old. Yeah, so I thought it was extremely interesting, and
Right.
plus, I love Pliny the Elder.
Oh, yeah.
It's a wonderful beer, very seasonal. If you can get it. It's lovely. But anyway, yeah, because it was saying that they're just impossible to catch unless, like in
Right.
this one, they're old or they're ill or they want to
Right.
be caught for
Right.
some reason.
Right. So in 1832, B.H. Hodgson
Meg?
Hodgson. He was a
Meg already turned. She's. I'm
I know,
done.
she's
She's
done.
like, oh my
I
god.
can't help these guys any longer.
He was a trekker in northern Nepal.
Using a Star Trek. I get you.
He describes
Picard.
seeing a large bipedal creature that was covered in long dark hair. He believed that it was an orangutan.
Okay.
My shooters were once alarmed by the apparition of a wild man, possibly an orang. Boy, I really should look over my notes and just be like, there's so many words that I can't say.
And they're all like Nepalese
I know,
and
I know,
Asian of descent,
I
so
know.
they sound like Klingon words almost.
You're making excuses. Maybe we shouldn't go to Mood Doc before we record an episode.
Well, I'm just saying.
That too. So they saw a wild man, but he doubts, their accuracy. They mistook the creature for a demon and fled instead of shooting it. It moved. They said erectly was covered with long dark hair and had no tail.
Okay. I will often say that directly. So I'm curious with this.
That's a new low.
Yeah. With the all the conversation around this, we think of the Yeti to be similar to Bigfoot.
Right.
Which is, pretty much a tall, lanky, ape-like, hairy, two-legged.
6'8" feet tall.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think lanky. I would think like
Kind of
power
swole.
lifter.
He's
yeah.
a big dude.
Yeah, but look at Harry and the Hendersons. Like, he's not buff. He's strong, but
Well,
he's
that was
not
a movie.
buff. Yeah, right. But that's more of a typical, in my view, like typical view of Bigfoot. And we think of the Yeti as simply the eastern version of Bigfoot,
Right, the mountain version of him, the snow version.
which probably came first, type of thing. Which I'll get to later, but the
Whoa, hey.
Can't wait.
Right
Yeah.
on.
but hey, made me forget where I was going with that. Oh no, the whole wild man concept. So a lot of the indigenous, the Nepalese words for this, Himalayan words for this, have wild man, which I don't think of Bigfoot being wild in terms of. Wild, I think, erratic and fast and agile, and you're looking at him.
More like a wild creature.
He's jumping jumping between trees and constantly moving, and that whole wild aspect. You can't even predict what they're going to do. If you want to shoot this creature because you're in fear of them attacking you or you're a game hunter, you can't predict their next movement. They're wild. They're erratic.
So would it be more correct to say feral instead of wild?
Well, maybe, but I wouldn't think of any of these descriptions as considering it to be feral. Of course, it's going to be feral. It's a thing you're finding in the middle of the Himalayan mountains.
Right.
You're not going to expect them to be a cultured society. I'm thinking wild as being like truly.
Like shave a mohawk, put a tank top on, and have some beers.
Well, no, just being very unpredictable, erratic.
That was for Dash.
The worst.
So I'm wondering with that description of this of the Yeti, what did people see here? Like if we just saw white Bigfoots walking around, whether they're
not
black,
white.
Well, frozen.
Bird! Wow, from Malaysia. Correction.
Right.
Wow.
No. I So dark fur, but frozen with ice. So they appear white.
Right.
And they're just wandering around. You're Alexander the Great and your troops are wandering in and you see this thing walking around. That's one thing. If you see this 8-foot tall thing jumping around like a maniac,
well,
that's a totally different thing.
But keep in mind, this is also from these accounts back in the 1800s and 300 BCE and 6 BCE. They would also consider seeing like an alligator in a river, a sea serpent.
Right.
So it was it was exaggerated when it came to stories because they didn't write down these accounts. So if they just saw some Yeti off in the hills coming down, and he's just like looking for some food or carrying a rock or doing whatever, they're going to be like, "Well, in the wild, that's a wild creature."
So and that's where I wonder the definition of wild.
Right.
Like we have the translations of the different names and that were wild man and things like that. What if we go back to that original language? What did wild mean in that sense? Was it wild in the sense of untamed, or was it wild in the sense of maniacal? Like,
it could have even been someone who just had long hair.
Right.
Yeah.
That could have been wild back in the day. You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
He was no Johnny U.
So in 1925, there was a photographer that actually he saw a creature. He was in I'm not sure which of the cavern, or not caverns, but the mountains he was at.
The big one.
Yeah, it was one of the big ones, but he saw a creature at about 15,000 feet. It was walking upright. And then about 2 hours later, I feel like him and his companions, they were around the area and they photographed a bunch of footprints.
Right.
And they were pretty big ones. There was also, in 1940, there was a guy, Slawomir Roshowitz.
Oh, good old Slauermere.
I know.
Are we going to try to pronounce Russian now?
I know. Because, well, I thought it said ST, but it's SL, and there's like a slash to the L.
Okay.
So I was like, I don't even know. He claimed in his book, The Long Walk, that he and a bunch of others, they were crossing the Himalayas, and their path was blocked for about 2 hours because there was two bipedal animals that were just kind of hanging out, walking.
Chilling.
Yeah, they were doing nothing but shuffling in the snow, but they didn't feel comfortable like trying to, pass them. So,
But they were bipedal and not on all fours.
yeah, they were on
their
2
way.
feet. Yeah. Now, here's a big one. We've all heard of Sir Edmund Hillary.
Yep.
Have you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Just making sure.
Have you?
Of course. I used to be a
I was
huge...
gonna say,
I actually wanted to climb Mount Everest at one point in my life.
Because of him.
Not
Okay.
because of Sir Edmund Hillary.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
But he did it.
Based on the uncomfortable pauses and the questions, do we need to explain that for any listeners who haven't heard of him?
Oh,
Oh,
we
the
probably
first-
should.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Dave.
He's a very famous hiker.
He was
There we go.
Go for it.
he was from the UK, and he was the first person officially to ascend to the peak of Mount Everest.
Yes.
Now, obviously, the Sherpas have done that before, but they weren't officially recognized.
Right.
So,
What would you do if you got to the top?
Take a selfie.
Yeah,
You think so?
What else would you do?
I know.
Maybe go to
so
the bathroom?
I have a story about this.
You would pee on the
later.
the highest most point of the world.
He'd probably pull out his burger that he's been carrying up there.
Yes,
That,
exactly.
too.
Oh, you need a burger.
I'd have something to eat up there. Maybe
Where were you
something to
keeping
drink.
that burger?
You
In
know
his
what?
pocket.
That's neither here nor there. But I'm just saying I might have like a cheeseburger.
Oh,
in the
apparently
back.
drink because food. We brought up food.
Yeah, I brought
Like
up some
Ron, it
food.
was-
So
no.
you could sit up there. You could have something to eat, relax, go to the bathroom, and then head back down. It's a stop. It's a pit stop. Everything is down from there. So I'm just saying. I think it's a great spot.
For later. I do really quick want to interject that based on your comment that his name had the L with the line through
yeah.
it, he's Polish.
Okay.
And I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that.
Right. I tried very badly.
No.
Do it.
I've been to Poland, and every time I attempted to say anything, they laughed at me because it's not conforming
Right.
to what you think. Yeah.
Right.
So
But anyway, the way it's spelled, I was like, I'm not saying this correctly at all. I'm just like phonetically
yeah.
trying to say it. Anyway, so Sir Edmund Hillary in the 1950s, curiosity about the identity of the abominable snowman drew him into the search. In 1952, along with George Lowe, they found hair on a high pass.
A high pate.
A high pay?
Yeah, a high pass while in the mountains, and they were like, "Is this from Yeti?" In 19-
That's what they said. Right. They assumed it was Yeti right away.
Well, I have Yeti ? So I don't. I think I was
What
trying
else
to
would leave hair up at that
Right.
level, at that height?
I don't know. Another hiker with a parka that has the fur around
Maybe.
the hoodie.
This is Sir Edmund Hillary. It's up in it's 75,000
Yeah.
Something
feet high.
on the high pat.
On the high pat.
Yeah.
Not much stuff passes on the high pat.
Oh, you guys suck. In 1953, Yeti tracks were found by Hillary in the, I'm not even going to say it, another range. In 1954, two British members of Hillary's team, they discovered Yeti tracks. And then he had a bunch of Sherpas that were from Nepal, and they talked about several types of the abominable snowman.
Different tracks and stuff they found. Is that where they have the ice pick, the ice climbing pick on the side with next to the track to show?
Yeah, probably
the size of the track.
Yeah.
Okay.
They talked about Nyalmo, which is in north central Nepal, a giant-sized, like 20 feet tall, man-like, hairy, and given to shaking giant pine trees.
Trees?
Yeah.
It's almost like a giant troll or something. That doesn't sound like
I know. Given to
really
shaking
tall.
giant pine trees in trials of strength, while other Nyalmos sit around and clap their hands.
Is this like the festive?
I don't know.
The trials of strength? Like,
sounds like it. Yeti version.
Yeah.
The Yeti Olympics.
Yeah.
So during most of the 1950s, Hillary was a supporter for the possibility of the existence of the Yeti. In late 1960, he was sponsored by the World Book Encyclopedia.
Mm-hmm. I had one of those.
Yeah.
By that company in Chicago, and he left on a very famous expedition to Nepal in pursuit of the Yeti. So I thought that was kind of interesting. He was very focused about the Yeti. He wanted to believe. He wanted to find proof. You know.
What would just think how rough it would be if Sir Edmund Hillary had a daughter named Hillary, and her name was Hillary.
Oh God,
That'd be really rough.
That would be.
I'm thinking that the whole time.
well, if it's not weird,
I know.
that's the end of the show.
God.
But did we ever hear anything back from his expedition in the 60s about going to find?
I'm pretty sure he did not find the Yeti.
Yeah, I didn't see anything really past about that time frame.
No, he was like.
I'm pretty sure we'd have a lot more to go off of.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it may not be even considered for this podcast had he found something with provable, documented evidence.
So in 1959 is when Dyatlov Pass happened.
Right.
Which is a very famous situation with 9 hikers that died.
Yes.
And they don't really know what happened, but a lot
Sonic
of
waves.
Sonic waves.
Yeah, Reptilian
Well-
Dave, you got any opinions on that?
Sonic waves.
Sonic waves. One of the theories was that a Yeti attacked the camp and killed them all.
Well, remember
But-
the one, some people had their skull and chest crushed. Force, like a very massive force to that kind of impact.
Right. Yep.
But also, tongue was ripped out. That's why we're thinking possible. Maybe the Yeti
That's
came
pretty
and just
brutal,
said no.
It is, yeah. But, I mean, there may have been experiments run from the Hollow Earth that may have gone awry and, it involves sonic testing and, may not be able to provide an apology or even an acknowledgement, but, it wasn't a Yeti.
Anybody listen to that? There's no. What? That was not factual.
No, not even close.
There's no facts on that.
Also, in 1959, supposed Yeti feces were collected.
Everybody poops.
Yes. Fecal analysis found that there was a parasite in it, which could not be classified.
Oh.
Has he got his own parasites in his
I
own?
don't
in his poop?
know. Or is the Yeti, we've theorized with like Bigfoot that he's also alien.
Right.
So like maybe
Alien
he's not from
poop
this earth.
parasites?
The U.S. government thought that finding the Yeti was likely. So they come up with 3 rules for Americans that were going over and looking for Yeti.
They give us rules to look for Yeti.
Yes.
I didn't know this. This
Like-
is great.
They said, yes. They said.
You already have enough rules on us as it is.
I know. They like to create rules.
Yeah.
They said you need, 1, obtain a Nepalese permit.
Well,
Okay, all right.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
sounds fair.
Like a
Yes.
hiking permit or a Yeti hunting
I
permit?
don't know. They
don't go
didn't say.
trespassing in foreign nations.
Okay.
Yes.
We're not going to support you.
Right.
Permit.
Okay, I get that.
Number 2, do not harm the Yeti except in self-defense.
Well, we know the Yeti is famous for his one-punch kill.
Right.
So I would not even attempt to harm or fight the Yeti.
Right.
Well, and of course, they want to study it, so please don't kill the things we want to study.
And number 3, in the effect that you might actually get a Yeti, you need to let the Nepalese government approve any news reporting on this discovery. So, or even if you find, like, you know,
that
poop.
last one's tough, because if you find proof of the Yeti, I mean, I'm literally hitting that button and posting to social media right away.
Yeah, so like if you find poop or you find footprints, you need to let them know that you're doing it.
When was that guidance given?
1959.
Okay, so well before cell phones and like cloud backup. And
There you go. Things have changed.
Yeah.
Yes. In 1970, there was a British mountaineer. He claimed to have witnessed it scaling one of the mountains. In 1986, there was a mountaineer, Reinhold Messner. He claimed to have a face-to-face encounter with the Yeti. He wrote a book called My Quest for the Yeti. And he claims to have killed one.
What? That's not good.
I know.
That's against the rules.
I know. Well,
unless it was in self-defense.
Right.
Well, did he emotionally attack him or something?
If you're face-to-face with the thing on a mountain cliff, it's probably you or me.
Yeah.
Now, he also said that according to this guy, he said that the Yeti is actually the endangered Himalayan brown bear. Ursus arctos isabellinus. Okay. Which can walk both upright or on all fours. So he doesn't think that the Yeti is this, mysterious cryptid. He thinks it's a bear.
Okay.
That can walk upright.
Yes.
Oh, a lot of bears can do that.
But they have short legs.
I feel like
short legs, though.
That's why some people theorize that people that claim to see Bigfoot, they actually saw a bear walking upright.
Right.
Yeah.
Because,
They don't often do that.
Did you ever see a video of a bear walking on 2 legs? It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't look like a human. It looks like a bear on 2 legs.
I know, you just want to hear that circus music.
Yeah.
Like when you see him.
Yeah.
And put a little top hat on him and give him a tricycle.
It's wonderful. I'm glad they can do it. It's amazing. But it's pretty funny.
In March 1986, Anthony Wooldridge, he was a hiker. He saw what he thought was the Yeti standing in the snow standing in the snow near a ridge about 500 feet away. It didn't move or make a noise, but he saw odd tracks in the snow that seemed to lead towards that figure. He took 2 photographs of the creature, which were later analyzed and proven genuine. In 2008, there was a team of climbers that photographed some footprints. And in 2011, the Russians, they said they claimed to capture a Yeti.
But also in 2011.
Oh, go for it.
Nikolai Volev. Probably mispronounced it. V-A-L-U-E-V. Volev. The so-called, they call him the Beast from the East. This is a Russian...
the wrestler.
Russian boxer.
Oh.
He was like 7 foot tall. I don't know his weight, but I imagine massive.
Yeah.
For some reason, he decided he was going to go on the hunt. Now, in Russia, they did really have a whole thing where they were really trying to find the Yeti. Now, I heard this because one theory is to try and increase tourism.
Yes.
But this boxer went out to check it out. Again, 7 foot tall, probably about the same size as a Yeti. I had one report that nothing really happened. And then I had another report, and this is in quotes, but I'm pretty sure people were making things up on the internet, but I thought it was funny enough to tell you guys. We found him. Volev reportedly spotted the Yeti, chased him down, and punched him. But the beast just took my punch and ran off, said Volev. What? At least I know he is real. I punched him. That's real. I'm pretty sure that's a made-up report. No, it's true that this Russian boxer did go looking for Yeti. I don't think he punched a Yeti in the face.
No.
But I would like
live
to
to
think,
tell about it.
And live to tell about it because now we know Yetis are famous for their one-punch kills.
Yes.
That's why I know that story is BS.
Yep.
The Russians in 2011 they claimed to so a hunter reported having seen a bear-like creature that was trying to kill one of his sheep, but after he fired the gun, the creature ran into the forest on 2 legs. The story then claimed that Border Patrol soldiers captured a hairy 2-legged female creature similar to a gorilla that ate meat and vegetation. And it was later revealed that it was a hoax. Or possibly, yes, as you said, a stunt for publicity.
Yeah.
So,
publicity stunt.
Yeah, pretty much. And then in 2019, which is just last year,
Right.
An Indian Army mountaineering expedition team, they claimed to have spotted mysterious footprints measuring 32 inches by 15 inches. Is that big? I didn't even look
32
it up.
long by 15 wide.
Yeah.
That's almost 3 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a big one.
That's pretty good size. That's pretty good size.
So that's all I have for sightings, but
Now
sure you have more.
that, though, they theorize that sometimes bears can walk and, like,
Yep.
kind of step in the
Yeah.
same...
They step in their own footprints.
Making it look like a bigger footprint, because I
Right.
know when I came across that, too, that even people on Twitter were like, hey, you guys should take this tweet down. You don't want to look like a bunch of chuckleheads that don't get it.
Right.
Even Twitter was like, nah.
Now, did you guys come across the current Yeti scalp that's on display in a Himalayan monastery right now? That was also carried by Sir Edmund Hillary.
Yes.
That was pretty cool. It looks like a hairy football, or it looks like something that was coughed up from
Yes.
something.
Scientists, I do have that on my evidence.
Yeah.
The evidence. Scientists, they determined that it is the hide from a sarau, which is like a goat, Himalayan goat.
That looks like a Yeti scalp to me.
Does it?
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like
Okay.
like a slightly balding Yeti scalp.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, then.
scientists
I don't
said
know what
it's
it
not
looks
real.
like, but
so
it looks like a wad of fur is what it looks like.
Huh.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if Chewbacca laid down and cut off a knee or something like that. That's what it would look like. I don't know.
Well, great description.
I know.
There you go.
Wow. I would like to take us to break, but I would like to say, like, my first experience with the abominable snowman was from the Rankin and Bass holiday classic Rudolph.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
It was,
And it was white.
Yukon Cornelius called it the Bumble.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We'll be right back. And we're back.
Oh, my. Wow. That was a rev right into that.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just how it came out. Woo! How's that story? How's that story? What am I talking
I
about?
don't know what you're talking about.
So, how about that Yeti?
That darn
Well,
Yeti.
I was thinking we got some listener stories coming up, so my
Yeah.
brain was kind of like over here a little bit. But yeah, what? Why is that
Nothing?
funny?
Now you have some more because look at your paper in hand.
I know,
You're ready
I
to
do.
more. I actually have stuff about ideas of where this thing came from.
Okay.
You know.
Well, I wanted to bring up some of the evidence.
Okay.
Okay. So most of it is usually footprints, sightings, things like that.
Hair samples.
Yes.
And
And we're done. Yeah.
Small children force breeding.
So we did talk about Sir Edmund Hillary and his scalp that he claimed was from that.
Yep.
And the scientists, they determined that it was actually the scalp from something else or hide from something else.
it's a bear.
Well, they said it was
goat, I thought.
from
It was a mountain goat.
a Himalayan goat. But
Goats.
Goats.
I guess there was like a finger that was once revered in a monastery in Nepal.
Okay.
Yeah. They long claimed that it was from a Yeti. Okay. But
Just kept the finger laying around?
I know. They had a finger there, and they were
That's a
like, it's
relic.
from the Yeti.
It's a finger.
Well, relics are
Yeah.
fingers and other pieces.
But it was analyzed. DNA analysis proved that it's a finger from a human.
Oh, wonderful.
I know. So they had...
How big was his finger?
I don't know.
That they got confused.
Was it a big thumb? Did it have a big
Yeah,
claw?
I would just assume that
So-
his hands would be like 5 times the size of humans.
So when we pass, our hair and our nails keep growing.
Right.
No, that's a myth.
That is a myth.
It is a myth?
It is a myth. Our bodies, as we dehydrate, shrink, which causes the...
Oh, the cuticles recede.
yes.
Yeah.
So that was my question: did it have to do with this finger? Did they think it was a Yeti because the cuticles receded and this large nail-looking thing was there because it was all
I don't-
scraggly and dry?
I don't know. I didn't look at it to see.
Alicia,
You know,
yeah, we didn't
I know.
have the
oh my gosh,
the finger here to
we
analyze.
depend on you for this research.
I know. Sorry. In 2007, Josh Gates, he had a whole series on what is it?
Travel Channel?
Yeah, it's on Travel Channel. It's Expedition Unknown. It was like Yeti something. Sorry,
Yeti.
I don't know.
Yeti.
He claimed to find like 3 footprints in the snow near a stream. There was a lot of people that were skeptical about this because they were like, he's only been here for a week and he found all this information.
Yep.
So they're thinking it was just like bear tracks or whatever. And that's really what I wanted to come down to is like a lot of people are like, most likely these are bears. And they think that the Yeti is actually like...
The Russian boxer that's 7 foot tall?
No. That it's probably the closest living relative to Gigantopithecus.
Gigantopithecus?
Yeah.
Meg?
What did you say?
Gigantopithecus. It's a prehistoric ape that lived in Asia 300,000 years ago.
Yeah, that's Bigfoot.
But also, they're also talking about it possibly being a bear.
Right.
Now, just because Josh Gates was only there for a week,
Yeah.
when the people were like skeptical because he found some signs, there is a Nepalese saying that the Yeti will only show itself to those who believe.
Right. True. Okay.
So maybe it's a little bit more on the spiritual side.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they didn't.
possibility.
Josh Gates, since he dresses like Indiana Jones, come on.
But didn't the pre-Buddhist belief was that the Yeti was a spiritual guardian?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that could jive with that. With
Maybe he
the
guards a
Nepalese-
portal.
or a porthole.
A porthole.
Porthole that takes a view of a portal. Maybe. I don't know.
What if some of these cryptids are like guarding?
Right?
Yeah.
Like gates of hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or portals to other places.
Right.
Yeah.
Dimensions.
Dimensions of sight and sound. That's right.
So the one thing I wanted to mention from the bear aspect, we even made a comment about it. If you've seen a bear walking upright,
They look silly.
they look silly. These creatures don't sound like they look silly when
Right.
they're walking
Like menacing.
upright.
Yeah.
Yes. So a bear, if it's trying to get away, it's going to be on all four.
They have little legs.
Yeah. Right. So the if it is, it's entirely possible that it's in a line that bears descended from and it descended from in the same way, and that this has evolved to use 2 legs, but it's definitely not a normal bear type thing. I've been to India and seen the Asian bears there, and they look completely different than bears in the United States.
Do they have top hats too?
They have their faces have much longer hair that they don't look like what you think of a bear to look
Right.
like. When you see them, you're like, what is that? And then you look at the sign and it says it's a bear, and it's like, oh, okay, I get it, but it's not your first impression.
We're thinking like brown bear, black
Right,
bear.
exactly. Yeah. But at that time, at the same thing, like even if one of those bears had been in the ice and covered in ice and was walking on 2 legs and everything, it's not going to be it's going to be awkward walking, type of thing.
Right.
It's not going to be menacing in that. It's just going to be like, what is that type of thing. So if the Yeti is actually walking on two legs and it's been going on since 300 some BC, then we're talking about something different than a bear.
Right. In 2013, British geneticist Brian Sykes, he scientifically confirmed this. Sorry.
You're having some trouble there.
Scientifically confirmed that some of the DNA samples of the Yeti, so the hair, the poop, all that kind of stuff, it didn't belong to any existing animal.
Okay. Space poop.
Instead, he was saying that it's belonging to a prehistoric polar bear believed to be extinct.
Okay, so that kind of took me. I'm going to just jump right in on this.
Do it.
Go.
So I was trying to think of where did this thing come from? Okay, and I'm trying to think. Okay, well, people might think that I'm going to go to like aliens and experimentation. Right. So what I did is I pulled up. I was trying to figure out if this is the result of like radiation or mutation over time. So I thought, how are the Himalayan mountains formed? They're formed from the tectonic plates kind of crashing in and pushing up. So what was there before that happened? So before the Himalayan mountains were formed, that area was tropical by nature. And some of the accounts that people thought they saw Yetis were orangutans,
Okay.
like coming down from the mountains. So I was trying to think of a time when, so the area before the tectonic plates pushed the Himalayan mountains up and to create the mountain range that we know now, this tropical area, which was lush, green, tropical,
What time period are you talking about?
A long time ago.
Long time ago. I mean, this is long time ago. This is before the land masses separated.
It took a long time to build a 29,000-foot mountain.
Right. But keep in mind, we also have other accounts of Sasquatch in the continental United States, different varieties, different species from the same core, like Momo versus Sasquatch versus the Mogollon Man. And is Yeti in that same vein, in that same genus almost?
That's a topic I want to talk about.
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about your historical concept first, but
along those same lines. So I'm thinking, like Darwin's finches were separated by geographical location. They had to evolve and adapt on their own. So you get a species of the same thing, and we'll just use Sasquatch as the basis, in and around the continental, Tangia back in the day, way in the way back, before the continents divided. These creatures were everywhere.
You're not talking about Gaia, the whole unified continent.
Before the continents drifted apart.
Well, no, the Himalayas were after the continent started to drift apart.
Correct.
We're not talking about the unified continent. It's not that far back.
Well, I was just trying to come up with a way to explain why Yetis are where they are.
But even right, I think you're close on there with the at the very beginning of the Asia continent.
Yes. So some creatures were trapped in this area.
Right.
The continents came apart. The tectonic plates came together, created the Himalayan mountain ranges. So these species were basically locked in this geographical area and had to mutate. So that explained up to a certain point. Okay, for me, that explained up to a certain point. One of the other explanations that we kind of came with, and I was trying to think of, is this aliens? And I was like, maybe not. I don't know. I started to look at the subtropical jet and the polar jet for the I just lost what it was called. Oh my gosh. The Airstream.
You were doing so well.
Jet stream?
The jet stream. Thank you, the jet stream. I was thinking about the jet streams. So I was thinking about the jet streams going across, and I have this funky diagram that I'm showing everybody here, which is great podcasting. What happens in a subtropical area when the jet stream comes across, and where it sits, and what the jet streams look like on our planet. The jet stream, the subtropical jet stream, looks exactly like one other thing that we just talked about that I'm always correcting the two of you when you say...
The vortices?
Vortices. That's right. See, look, Mark's looking. See?
Yeah. All right.
So what I'm thinking...
All right.
So my okay, my initial thought is that these creatures were trapped and they evolved over time.
Mm-hmm.
But if that were the case, then you would have the same level of evolution with other creatures like orangutans and some other creatures where they would be walking fully upright.
Not necessarily. It's all location dependent.
Mm-hmm.
Unless one thing interfered to get them there.
Okay.
Huh? Okay, and this is because this is the vile vortices.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. That the subtropical jet follows around these vile vortices. What if the jet stream and the subtropical jet is responsible for creating these, like what you said, portals, guarding these creatures are guardian to these portals.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So would that mean that whatever is on the other side of these portals would be tampering with these creatures to make them able to guard from people reaching these portals? I don't know. I just thought that it would be possible but difficult for them to get where they are now, making a lot of assumptions, but a whole mess of them. But if they were to follow our last episode with the vile vortices, something on the other side creating these things, and like what you're saying about being adaptable to our area,
Right.
making them specifically for the purpose of guarding these things, the portals that go through to this other existence. I don't know. I was just trying to think of a way to have these creatures there and protecting these portals. Because this looked exactly like the map that we have for the vile vortices. So I connected those dots.
Okay.
So I would go on a similar but different route. And not going so the vile vortices type of thing.
Yeah.
But I like where you're going with the whole, the Himalayas really, as they form
Right.
from the tectonic plates, it cuts off a whole animal.
Hey, one other thing.
Okay, go before I get started.
Because it had to do with the portals. It had to do with came from Cro-Magnons, and there was two lines of hominids back in the day. There was Neanderthals, and Cro-Magnon man. We evolved from Cro-Magnon man, right?
Because we murdered the heck out of Neanderthals.
What if we didn't what if we didn't drive them to extinction, but they were taken, modified, and brought back?
Oh.
That was my other one. They were brought back as this form because they were the only creatures that could live in this environment.
The only thing I would say about that is Neanderthals were no more than like 5 feet tall. So that would be a lot of, hey, we're going to add 3 feet to you.
But they were
kind of something that,
they were stretched, but they were the only creatures that we knew of. They were modified that could exist in a harsher environment than what we could, and we can't exist in this environment.
Right.
And have still a level of intelligence.
Reptilian Dave, I'm really curious.
Yeah.
Okay, so the from the whole, we start with the whole ape society.
Right.
Bear society. I don't, honestly, I didn't look up. I should have, where apes and bears diverge on the animal kingdom.
Right.
But I like where you're going with the whole, okay, as Asia was starting to build up what it is now and the Himalayas were starting to form, there's going to be all kinds of creatures that are suddenly impacted and have to learn to adapt. And creatures can adapt on a slow scale, which mountain building isn't fast.
It's not quick.
Right. It's when you try to change things fast when you cause problems. So certainly that could happen. And there's been sightings of these creatures, the Yetis, from the Himalayas through to Russia and Siberia in a long, long time ago.
Like thousands of years.
So, I mean, the earliest documented we've seen is Alexander the Great in 300 BC. But, in oral tradition history before that, and in other cultures, that aren't documented, we see the same thing. The land bridge between Russia and Alaska existed for thousands of years.
Right. It was all there. It was all mushied together.
So as this Yeti became what it is, Well, that creature extends north, and as it extends north, it covers over the land bridge and ends up in the United States. And so the land bridge goes away, and it evolves on its own,
Right.
and ends up in the Pacific Northwest. There's your Sasquatch. So they are definitely related.
Right.
You know, these creatures exist in one way or another from the same genetic tree.
Right.
And then from Sasquatch, you have all the North America cryptids that, you know, sound the same, that again are just the genetic derivatives of it. This all completely makes sense. The Yeti, you know, growing up, it was always, is the Yeti the Bigfoot of the
Right.
of Asia? No, it's Yeti was the original, and Sasquatch.
Sasquatch is the North American version of Yeti.
Right. Yeah, we didn't end up with an ape man or bear man or anything like that started in North America and crossed back over to Asia. It was just like everything else. Everything started in Asia, crossed over.
But then how would you account for the different levels or different rates of evolution? That's where I come up with the tampering part of it. Because if they've always been revered, I mean, we're talking pre-Buddhism. Buddhism was one of the oldest religions on the planet. Before that, they believed that these Yeti were guardians. So how would you then, if they're doing the same thing, if the Yeti are doing the same thing back, 360 BCE versus now, the different rates of evolution that we've had. So that's where I kind of come to the tampering part of it.
I don't see it as, I see it as these Yetis have been around for, 50,000 BCE, 100,000 BCE.
Yeah.
It's just how many of those stories maintain through the years.
Right.
We don't have a lot of history outside of Europe from those time periods, the northern glaciers, things like that, where we find the frozen cavemen type of thing. So I think that it was a lot longer than the Tibetan history, and that more than likely there was historical societies that lived in that area of Indonesia and Southeast Asia that ended up where the Himalayas formed, that their cultures interacted with these creatures that became the Yetis. But when we went, or not what we didn't cause it, the Earth changed.
Yeah.
They evolved on their own.
But that's what I'm saying is that initial split, something I think had to put a fork in that road to have us diverge from the Yeti. And that's where I think of the tampering. Either that they were the one who were tampered, or we were.
But, even...
one of the two.
There's...
we can rock, paper,
plenty of
scissors
species have changed dramatically from that.
Right.
Whether or not the humanoid, the whole... there's plenty of things that exist only in those regions or outside those regions. The Himalayas are a huge barrier with different creatures on either side.
That's true. That's true. I don't know. I don't know. Long pause. I think so.
We're getting looks.
We're getting looks like, oh my gosh.
No, it's great. For everybody listening, hey, I hope you enjoyed the episode that we won a podcast award for.
That's right.
Because Reptilian Dave was dropping knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
Nash had a theory about aliens tampering with
that's
DNA.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That I mostly agreed with.
Yeah, we'll accept our Oscar next year.
That's right. Please send it to...
You can't get an Oscar for a podcast. Whatever that.
Well, we should.
We should.
That's right.
We'll turn that... No, we'll take this whole episode and we'll turn it into a documentary.
There it is.
We should be able to get
about 4 people talking about the Yeti.
Welcome to the Pudding Skin.
Yeah.
There's the title right there.
That's for our documentary? Yeah. Welcome to the Pudding Skin?
Welcome to the Pudding Skin.
That sounds like the kind of a song you play before you go into
maybe
a
not welcome.
battle.
Maybe. No, anyway. I just no.
That's what you say to somebody before you're about to Yeti punch them. One punch them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Pudding Skin, son.
Skadoosh.
Skadoosh.
Oh, boy.
Nah, it is time. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Dave, I'm glad you showed up today. It's a great counterbalance.
Not just was
Nash.
here, but showed up.
That's right.
You did. You showed up. Yeah, there's been times you've been here, but
Not here.
Not here?
Yeah.
But today.
Balance, counterbalance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can only assume the Yeti's like one of your top things to think about.
I don't know. Yeah.
I kind of dig on the Yeti as much as you dig on Frank.
Bigfoot.
Yeah.
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 Nice. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to dig on now. Why, that's not funny. We got a couple listener stories. So if you didn't enjoy enough of us talking, guess what?
Here's more.
We're still going strong. We heard from, Alicia's going to take this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're going to start off with the story from Fran.
Love your show so much. Our son has developed an interest in the paranormal, and your show has been a real treat for us all.
Until this one. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Podcast awards.
Hashtag give us that award. Give us the award.
Sorry, Fran, I interrupted the story.
Twice.
I apologize. I won't do it again.
Brought me back to my time at Dudleytown. My former husband took me camping up the Housatonic River outside Cornwall, Connecticut, back in maybe 95 or 96. He was obsessed with finding Dudleytown, of which I knew very little. So we went to the local library. Nothing. Close-lipped patrons and librarians. The story went that this town was on the path to Salem, and when the witch trials were happening, everyone in Dudleytown, or those who passed through it, went mad and died mysteriously, so they weren't talking. We went to the local basket shop, a business in the area that was there for ages. The shopkeeper had a map, advised us where to go, and wished us luck. He reminded us not to take anything from there unless we wanted trouble. Long story, a bit shorter, we found it. I was scared shitless and insisted we leave. There were foundations and way too many noises and what seemed to be orbs from time to time. It was terrifying. I told him we were stupid and never going back. A few hours later, I'm sick as a dog. High fever and shivering. We go back to his house where his mother, the nurse, can advise me. Turned out I had a massive kidney infection out of nowhere. Also turns out my shit ex-husband had taken a rock from one of the foundations. I had him take that shit back immediately. I've never been back, but considered it today after visiting Connecticut for the first time in years. Today, we visited Fairfield Hills Asylum campus after listening to your podcast on the Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. Totally different history, but amazing to see. Anyway, do yourselves a favor and check out the history of Dudleytown. There's tons out there. Just don't go. And if you do, for God's sake, don't take anything. I know you know better.
Yeah.
Keep diving into the weird. Thanks, Fran.
No, thanks, Fran.
Yeah.
Interesting story. I've never heard of Dudleytown. I definitely want to look it up.
Yeah, definitely.
I would not take a souvenir.
Never.
Just like we were talking about the Villisca axe murder house. Remember that person said they took a brick?
Right.
And they had some bad things, and they had to take the brick back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't take stuff.
But that one was interesting that the ex-husband took the brick.
And then she got
and
sick.
she got sick.
Yeah.
So, like, if we went to investigate and I took a brick and stuck it in Nash's pocket,
That's not all you can put in my pocket.
who's going to get sick?
I know.
Wow. Well, we just lost another listener on that one.
Which one
Right.
was
If you
for?
stick a brick in his pocket,
Right.
Yeah, who's going
Because I always think of it as...
would it technically would be you
Right, that's-
who left the property.
That's what I would think. Yeah.
Yeah, does it follow the item or does it follow the person who did it?
Yeah.
Or does the whatever is possessing the
Right,
item know
right.
that BS, Dave,
Yeah.
your prank on National is
Exactly.
going to work?
I actually think the same as you. I think that it would follow the item itself. We've had so many occurrences where people were talking about items that were possessed for one reason or the other.
True, but I mean, I would just want to take a step back there. I think it shouldn't be that. Like, if I pull a prank on you, it should be me that's cursed, not you.
Well, should, but it follows the item.
But if that's the case, then you've got a lot to look forward to.
Right, right.
Well, what we learned here is never go on a paranormal investigation with Dave.
Yeah.
No.
He's going to try to prank you.
And ruin the rest of your life.
And somehow put bricks in your pocket that you don't notice. That he's putting a brick in your pocket.
You get up and
Wow,
go,
that can-
oh my, what is this in my pocket?
Dave, why are you bricking in my pocket?
Nice. Nice.
Downhill doesn't even describe.
Yeah.
The
Before
direction
we
we're
leave
taking.
Gettysburg, it's like, everybody check your pockets. Maybe Dave put a brick in it.
How are we supposed to continue?
That's right.
All right, for anybody still listening, we have a story from Corey. Corey's awesome. Hey, guys. This is Corey from Utah. One of the scariest paranormal events that happened to me was when I was about 10 or 11 years old. My dad woke me up before he went to work around 5:30, 6 a.m. He had one of those radio stacks that have a tuner, surround sound, CD player, and equalizer. It stood like 4 feet tall.
Those were
It had
awesome.
glass doors in the front. Right.
I
had one of those.
I had one
You
of
guys
those.
have
too.
one of those?
I had one too. Yeah.
I wish they would come back.
Yeah.
So I put a CD in, and I started to get ready for the day. I was brushing my teeth in my boxers, and all of a sudden, the radio turned all the way up. So I went to turn it down, and when I opened the glass door to turn it down, I said, "What the F-bomb?" Yeah, I was kind of a bad kid. But when I said the F-U part, I spit toothpaste all over the front of the stereo stack.
Nice. Nice.
So I went and grabbed some paper towels to clean it up, and while I was wiping the toothpaste off, I saw two very, very dead children sitting on my couch in the reflection of the glass doors.
Wow.
They had weird clothes on and looked super decayed. Like I could see part of their rib cage and their jawbone. Their eyes were so weird. Not like black-eyed kids, but like white-eyed kids. Kind of like after a fish dies. You know. It was a boy and a girl. I made eye contact with the boy, and they both slowly smiled.
Oh, wow.
Like an evil Joker from Batman smile. I straight up ran to my friend's house in my boxers and threw his door open and made him come back to my house until I got ready. He wasn't
What does that conversation sound like?
he wasn't too happy, but he complied. In that house, I always had things being moved around, and I would hear voices and get weird vibes all the time. My dad always denied seeing or feeling anything until he moved out.
Wow.
Wow.
Then he started telling me all the things that had happened. Sorry, my story is kind of long, but this is one of those freakiest things that have ever happened to me. I can still see them when I think about it. Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you for everything you do. I love this podcast. I have recommended to quite a few friends and coworkers. And just to let Nash know, if you layer chocolate pudding, banana slices, and vanilla pudding in a somewhat tallish glass, it's kind of the mother trucking bomb.
Yeah.
I will have to try that.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks, Corey.
Yeah.
sounds amazing.
Wow.
That would be a terrifying vision to see.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to make light of the vision, but I feel like we did that in Curse of Strahd.
Ah,
And yeah, it would impact you. Like,
for sure.
I want to be the fly on the wall of the next door neighbor that when he entered the door, there was a kid in his boxers frothing
With a toothbrush.
with
Yeah.
the toothbrush in hand and frothing from the mouth. And they're like, yeah, let's go. That sounds great.
I don't think that's how it went. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that any toothpaste he had already cleaned off was immediately reapplied.
Probably.
Yeah, right. So did you guys now, back in the day, did you pull the glass off the front of your stereo stack?
No, I like the glass on the front.
Did you leave the glass on the front?
Yeah.
Did you leave the glass on the front?
I mean, I had a hinged door.
Yeah. You push on it. And
a little magnet.
Yeah, I took the glass off of it.
Why?
Why?
Well, because the cat kept peeing on it. But then you would see cat pee on the glass.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
That's better than cat pee on the stereo.
But he wouldn't pee on the stereo. It was only on the reflective surface. It was weird. And it would give I would suggest, if you have a stereo stack, take the glass off. Bad things happen with the glasses on. You get reflections of dead kids. You get cat pee. I see nothing good from it.
What? How? What? I'm just trying to visualize your cat walking up and peeing on the glass.
Yeah, they would mark their territory. They do that.
Yeah, but glass, it's going to spray. They don't like to be dirty. Like, why?
Yeah, it's going to bounce back.
Like, if I'm a cat and I want
Have
to
you
mark
ever
my
peed on
territory, I'm not
glass?
going to pee on glass.
I have not personally peed on glass. Are you saying that you
It's going to
have?
bounce back.
I know. That's why we got rid of it. That's why we got rid of the glass. So the cat wouldn't pee on the glass anymore. We're not going to get rid of the cat.
I don't know which is worse.
What?
Seeing decayed kids in the reflection or just having to deal with a cat peeing on
peeing on stuff.
my stereo stack?
Yeah, I know. And I'm trying to think, God, it'd be pretty terrifying seeing a couple of kids. But you don't have to clean up after that, you know?
You might have to clean up.
You might. There could be some goo. You never know.
Or your reaction.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
If you're only in boxers.
There could be space poop laying around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call it space poop.
Yeah. I was calling it actual poop.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, if I'm about my boxers and I see a reflection of rotting kids,
Yeah.
I'm probably going to leave real poop.
With the fogged over
Or at least a
eyes,
shark.
with the glassy eye, the fogged over like white eyes. That's freaky. That gets to me more, I think, than the black eyed kids.
Mm-hmm.
Than the black eye, the whole eye being black. The white clouded eyes. That's the one that gets to me more. I don't know why. It just seems spooky to me.
It does seem spooky.
Yeah. Black eyes seems like it could be like a Terminator or like a some cool eyes. Not like I'm dead and I'm gonna kill you kind of thing.
I'm pretty sure I know you're not going to worry about black-eyed kids, and you're just going to invite them in.
I'll invite them in. Be like, whatever. Do your thing. Go on. Come on.
Join our party.
Whatever.
It's okay.
If you remember, in the adventure, which has yet to air,
it aired on Patreon.
The second episode.
No, it's scheduled. It drops next week.
Yeah. Do you remember if we recall what happened on that episode? It was me who posed the idea to save the day the correct way.
He's referring to our Pete Puncher's D&D.
Yes.
Episodes on Patreon. So if you have no idea what he's saying, that's what he's talking about.
I'm trying to foreshadow a little bit without giving any spoilers.
Yeah.
Speaking of cats,
yeah,
we have one last story from Indiana Johnny, and the very loquacious Dave is going to.
Loquacious.
He's going to read this one.
Very
for
nice.
us.
That was a big word.
yeah. I don't even know what that means. Okay. While listening to this week's episode with Rob Guttrow, I was remembering back to something that happened years ago. I had a cat named Maui, and whenever I would go outside and do yard work or check the mail, he would sit in the window and watch me. He also liked watching animals outside. Whenever he would do that, he would end up leaving nose prints on the windows. I ended up having to get rid of him for a couple of different reasons and had to leave him at the pound. A few weeks later, I started finding cat nose prints on the windows again, just like he would leave. I would wash them off and then would find more again later.
Wow.
I don't know what happened to him after I left him, but it was almost like he was visiting me when I would find the nose prints.
Aww.
Yeah.
Lulu, come here.
Here, Lulu.
Aw.
Smelly
Yeah.
dog. You're good.
You weirdo. Yeah.
You know,
To
little
the
nose
dog.
prints.
To the dog. The dog's a weirdo.
God.
I'm sorry.
What has happened?
Wow.
Our dog is a weird.
Yeah.
That's what you were trying to say.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say. I'm
Not
sorry.
Indiana Johnny.
No, not even close.
Well, maybe
Aw,
Dave. Maybe
little-
Dave, though.
Yeah, Dave
Little
could be a
kitten
weirdo.
nose
I'm very
prints.
weird.
Those
Yeah.
are great. Those are the cutest things ever. I love little kitty cats.
It'd be weird, though, to have them keep reappearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially after you wipe them off, like, wipe the window and everything. I'd be like, okay.
I don't know.
That would be weird.
I think I might find it kind of heartwarming after a while. Because you're like, okay, they're not going to go away.
You just take the glass off.
Only if it's urine. Cat urine, thank you.
We'll deal with the cold.
We'll figure this out right now.
No, but I mean, having been in a similar situation where, having a cat that had to get rid of for various reasons, it's like, it's heartbreaking, the reasons you have to.
You
and,
up.
The message here didn't go into it, but I can't imagine the emotions that go into seeing those things. Like, I'm sure it was tough.
The bond that you form, I had to give up a couple when I went off to college. I had to give up a couple cats, and it was the hardest thing I'd ever done.
Yep.
Oh, man, I can't imagine. That's really tough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. We're not laughing at the story. We're just laughing at the face Nash just made. When he stopped talking, he kind of makes a face like, yeah, how was that? Yeah. Like we're supposed to judge us like that was a great comment you made, Nash.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your stories. If you would like to do that, paranormalpunches.com. You'll find all the ways to contact us. We love to hear the stories. We appreciate that you feel that you can share the stories with us.
Definitely.
And with everybody listening.
Yep.
So thank you so much. Wow. Okay, so the Yeti episode might be running into our longest episode ever.
Yeah.
Again, for all the members of the Academy, we will gladly accept this as our best podcast award.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We're not winning anything for this.
No.
Guys, I had a great time.
Yep.
I had a great time
Definitely.
pre-gaming at Moo Duck.
Yep.
I had a great time testing out some of our ideas for upcoming episodes that are also game shows.
Yep.
We unless something bad happens. Then
Why would you say that?
I just meant audio issues. What are you guys thinking?
I'm thinking meteorites or aliens or
The things we talk about are all about bad things happening.
That's true. Well, okay. Unless we have audio issues or aliens come down and wreck shop, the next episode will be our trivia episode.
If aliens come down, they're joining the episode. I don't care what it takes. They're doing it.
They're on?
Yeah, they're on.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. So that should be super fun. We got another couple ideas up our sleeves.
Yep.
Hopefully it comes to fruition because we talk a lot. We have a lot of ideas. At this point, I'm thinking we have never done the movie episode yet.
No.
Yep.
We keep saying we're going to do something, but the trivia one's going to drop. So at least we finally are living up to what we said on that one.
And there should be some Patreon stuff coming through.
Some Patreon stuff. If you're into that, if you want to support the show, even $1 gets you everything. But you don't have to. This show's always going to be free on any of your podcast apps that you like to listen to podcasts on.
And the Patreon could get a little wacky.
It's getting, we're doing some experimental.
Yeah.
We have a show called Ghost and Gastropubs, where we talk about a location to investigate and then a location to go have a beer afterwards.
Yep.
Because I think that's what you should do.
Yes.
Right?
I thought it was Ghost and Gas at the Pubs. I took that totally differently.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's your mantra.
That's I was like, wow, I'm getting ready to go right now. You know what I'm saying?
That's what ruins every EVP.
That's right.
I think I caught a ghost. Nope. That was Nash farting.
That was Nash.
Oh, boy.
Nash needs some pudding skin underwear.
Oh.
No, his underwear is pudding skin.
That's fine.
After a night of investigation. Yeah. I won't delete that last part, but I'm just going to leave it in. So, we got a lot of fun things coming.
Yeah.
If you're still with us, well, we love you. You're awesome. Be safe. Be awesome. And like we always say around here, if it's not weird,
It's not worth checking out.